there's a war on coal in Alberta, and a war on coal is a war on the people and the towns in rural Alberta. And a war on coal is an attack we will all feel in the increased cost to our electricity bills. Now, the Coal Association of Canada is fighting back. They're holding public meetings in towns all across Alberta, and they're talking about the implications of Rachel Notley's purely ideologically driven disaster of a coal phase-out. And they're talking about what it means to the charming little coal towns like Keephills west of Edmonton. Now, these little towns that dot Alberta are towns that will be sacrificed on Rachel Notley's altar of climate change. And picturesque Keephills is where I caught up to former PC Environment Minister Robin Campbell, who now works with the Coal Association of Canada at a public meeting they were holding there. Campbell might be a former politician, but he understands coal. Now, during his presentation, Campbell made it clear that his organization is only worried about the towns and only worried about the laid-off workers. They're not worried about the coal companies.
A lot of coal miners are actually small farmers also. And what the coal mines do is actually help them supplement their farms so that they continue to live on a family farm that might be 4 or 5 generations and actually work in the mines also. So not only are you taking away their coal jobs, but you're also threatening the small farms in rural Alberta. And we think that, that something should be done about that, and there's no reason for that to happen moving forward. This is about jobs. I'm not here to talk today about corporations. I mean, corporations will do okay. I'm here to talk about working families, I'm here to talk about jobs, and I'm here to talk about rural communities. And that's what's important. This whole campaign is about where are the jobs going to be in the future. We look at where we are today in the oil and gas industry with over 100,000 people laid off. Through this climate leadership plan, you're about to see another 10,000 people lose their jobs. About 3,500 are direct employees within the mines, and for every job in the mines, you're looking at an offshoot of about 4 positions. So when you go into a place like Forestburg or Hanna, and you shut the mine down, and you shut the power plant down, you're also affecting teachers, you're affecting people that work in the service industry, you're affecting doctors and dentists. Because, they need volume to be able to stay in business. And if they don't have clientele, is a doctor going to stay in Hanna, Alberta or Forestburg? Of course not, they're going to move.
There were 6 Wildrose MLAs in attendance at the Keephills Public Town Hall. Scott Sear, Rick Strankman, Don McIntyre, Dave Hansen, Wes Taylor, and Mark Smith were all there not to politic, just to listen. Now, there were no NDP MLAs there to explain to the residents of Keephills what will become of them when Rachel Notley forces their chief industry out of town. I can't say I'd want to face those people either. Rick Strankman has the Hanna coal mine and the Sheerness generating station in his riding of Drumheller-Stettler, and I asked him how the NDP's coal phase-out will affect the people of his riding. Here.
One of the interesting things I heard earlier tonight, Sheila, was the comment about the loss of taxation revenue in this constituency, $224 million. I recently was at a Special Areas Advisory Council meeting and asked them if they have any conciliatory plans or fallback plans for the loss of that kind of revenue. And they're waiting till they see what happens. So I think they should be proactive and plan ahead. But obviously we aren't going to know the exact timing of the phase-out. The Mayor of Hanna, Chris Warwick, is going to be attending with myself at the budget presentation here next week. And I'm hoping to be able to do, as they commented about here, about putting a face to the community, putting a face to the people that are going to be affected by that.
Now, I also spoke to Rodney SHAIGEC. He's the mayor of Parkland County. The communities in Parkland will be devastated by the coal phase-out. Mayor SHAIGEC explains that here.
The coal phase-out is going to have huge impact on our municipality. There's going to be significant job losses. TransAlta employs roughly 1,300 people between the plants and the mines, and there's another 600 contract positions that are in jeopardy. But more importantly, for the residents who rely on the services that we provide, the significant loss of tax revenue, which has been identified at about $224 million by 2030. And so that's money that we obviously can't replace immediately. It's going to take a significant amount of time. If we can't replace that revenue, obviously it's going to be recovered through property taxes, and people are overly taxed, I'd say, right now, and people, particularly this economy, when we've seen a lot of people who've lost their jobs, they're having challenges making ends meet.
And then Robin Campbell shared with me what are the goals of the Coal Association of Canada. Here.
Our first concern is jobs. We want to make sure that people continue to work, and with what's going on in the oil and gas industry right now and other industries in the province, we think it's just not prudent to shut down an industry that provides good paying jobs for people in rural Alberta and is the backbone of a lot of communities. What we hope to accomplish by this is getting the government to take a step back and let's sit down and have a conversation about what we can do to lower emissions. We're not arguing about that, but we think that coal still has a place in Alberta and has a place right across Canada, and we should be having a conversation about new research, new technology, patenting that research technology and actually selling it worldwide and make money off it, as we have in other industries, whether it's oil and gas, agriculture, or forestry.
I also asked Campbell about the CCEMC. Now that's the Climate Change and Emissions Management Corporation, created way back in 2009. Listen.
The CCEMC, which I call the tech fund, is a fund that the large emitters pay $15 per ton carbon tax above their emission limits that they have. And of course, coal-fired generation is the largest payer into that fund. So we're just saying that money should go back into the industry. It doesn't cost the taxpayer any money because industry's paying for it. And we think that, again, it'll continue to provide good paying jobs. And again, Alberta can be a world leader.
And I asked Campbell about the trickle-down job losses of a coal mine closure. Here.
For every direct job, we figure about 4 other jobs in the community are dependent on the industry. And again, we're not just talking about the coal mine itself or the power plant. We're talking about teachers. We're talking about nurses. We're talking people that work in the service industry, in the hotels. We have the small contractors that have their businesses in town that provide work to the power generation plants or the mines. So all these people depend on that industry being there. Shutting that industry down will affect, we figure, close to 10,000 people in Alberta.
Now, the devastation to these small towns in rural Alberta will be irreparable. It will be the same thing as what happened in West Virginia, where the employment to population rate is now 49%. That means that less than half of all adults have a job in West Virginia. West Virginia is a coal mining state, and the U.S. federal government said they were going to bankrupt the coal industry, much the same way Rachel Notley has said she will do that here. For Rachel Notley and the environmental ideologues she surrounds herself with, West Virginia's devastation is a success story that she wants to replicate in small towns all across our beautiful province. Rachel Notley wants to win the war on coal, and our Alberta families will just be the collateral damage. At the Rebel, we are going to put a human face to this fight. Now, it's the human face the NDP don't want you to see. The human face is the miners who will lose their jobs. It's the towns who will lose their tax base and have their infrastructure crumble all around them when their chief industry and largest taxpayer leaves. It's the farms that will lose their supplementary income. It's the families who are already out of work because of Rachel Notley's other attacks on fossil fuels, her attacks on oil and gas, that will be paying increased electricity bills when they can least afford them. It's the industries that choose to go to Saskatchewan or BC because Alberta power rates will just be too expensive, taking all those precious Alberta jobs with them. All these people, all of us, will pay the true cost of Rachel Notley's coal phase-out, and they deserve a voice. That's why we are starting a petition. We want Rachel Notley to stop her war on coal families, and we want her to stop her irrational war on these small towns that power the innovation and growth of Alberta for so very long. These are the small towns and these are the families that powered all of our Alberta success stories. And they deserve so much better than to be blamed for climate and pollution problems we know they aren't causing. Go to stopthewaroncoalfamilies.ca to sign our petition. Send Rachel Notley a message. Every family in Alberta will be poorer because of Rachel Notley's coal phase-out. But families in these mining towns will be hurt the very most. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.